Welcome to Let's Talk Sports, and today we are here with our Thursday night football review. And as I mentioned on Twitter, we are going to just start doing the Thursday game by itself, just because it's only 2 days, but it just feels so far away from Sunday. And by the time I do get around to the weekly recap, I'm making my weekly recap, and I completely forgot what happens on Thursday night football. And because it's still fresh in my mind here late Friday night, I am going to discuss the Thursday night game. So on Thursday night football, we had the Baltimore Ravens and the Miami Dolphins. There's a lot, in my opinion, you can take away from this game. First of all, credit to Brian Flores, the Miami Dolphins, and that defense. They came to play. Now, some will argue Greg Roman didn't really adjust any of the play calling for the Ravens all night. But hey, it's a short week. Maybe like John Harbaugh said, they weren't prepared. But Miami looked like they were ready. They were just sending pressure after pressure after pressure. Like, to the point where they were just like, you can throw the ball. You're not running it on us. And the Ravens didn't run on them at all. At all. That's their strength. Now, some will say that the Ravens are really injured. I say to that, yeah, they're injured. Yes, if they have some of their key pieces back, I don't even think some of these games are close. And yes, the Ravens have been in a lot of high-stress games this season. Like week 1 against the Raiders, Monday Night Football, high-stress game. Chiefs-Ravens, high-stress games. Ravens-Lions, high-stress game. Colts-Ravens, high-stress game. You have the Ravens-Vikings, a high-stress game. This game, they lose. Yeah, it's a short week, but I don't know if that's an excuse because of the talent that the Ravens has. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say the Ravens are frauds. I don't think they're frauds. I think they are a legit team, a team that's going to be really, really hard to beat for the remainder of the season. I think Lamar Jackson's too good. I just think this game happened, and they played so poorly, probably because it was a short week. The Dolphins are like, we're on national television. We're here to make a statement. And then that brings into the AFC picture. It's going to be wild throughout the entire season, because as of Friday night, the AFC is completely wide open. You have the Bills at 5-3. You have the Patriots that are being quietly good this season. You have the Chargers, Raiders, Chiefs, Broncos, all the AFC West. They all have a legit chance of making the playoffs. You have the Ravens, Steelers, Browns, Bengals. They all have a legit chance. You have the Titans and the Colts in their division. They may have a chance. Like, the AFC is not set in stone as much as the NFC at all. And this game just solidified how close in talent the NFL really is. The Dolphins didn't play that particularly well on offense. Yet the Ravens defense completely blew coverage on a few of those plays. There was one at the end of the first half they blew coverage. There was a play really late in the game that the Ravens blew coverage. Their defense wasn't perfect. Am I a fan of the Dolphins offense? No, I'm really not. And I don't like the way that the Dolphins are handling Tua, because he was injured, but was the backup quarterback. So that it didn't really make sense to me. The guy that, I think he's been treated poorly. Yeah, he's been injured a lot, but I think he's been treated fairly poorly by the Dolphins, to not start him when he's going to be the backup. Like, I know he's injured, but if he's injured and he's not good enough to start, why would he be the backup? Like, shouldn't he just be inactive for the game? That's just how I feel. That situation was worse. It just doesn't make sense. I don't know how bad it is for Tua, how he feels, but he came in, made some great plays. Brissett made some great plays. I'm still not a huge fan of the Dolphins offense, but they do have some great pieces. Waddle's good. Gesicki is a great tight end. Sneakily one of the top, easily a top 10 tight end in football right now. He's great. But like the Dolphins just in general in this game, they played fantastic. Their defense stepped up all game long. And I have no harps on the defense of the Dolphins. That was sometimes you need a great display of defense on a national television game, and a game that's kind of not what we expected. We expected the Ravens to come in, blow them out. So it was really nice to see a great display of defense on a short week. Because like Xavier Howard of the Dolphins played a really good game. Javon Holland, he played a fantastic game. Like, these Dolphins players, they came to play against a legit Ravens team. Like I mentioned, I already mentioned the games that they played high stress in. But offensively for the Ravens, I put a lot of that blame on Greg Roman, because they didn't really adjust throughout the game, because Miami was just simply sending pressure for most of the game that I watched in the key situations. Miami was just like, we're sending pressure, you can throw it over the top if you want, you're not running on us. They didn't. The Ravens receivers dropped quite a few passes I feel like they could have caught. Sammy Watkins didn't have a good game. He had a chance to score on a route early on in the game, and he just completely gave up on the route. He did have the fumble where Xavier Howard did have a scoop and score. And like the Miami defense was playing great. That, their offense may not have been playing a particularly good game, that their special teams was getting into it. You saw them down a punt late in that game. The Ravens did end up scoring on a drive when it was down to like inside the 5. I think it was the 1. But like even their special teams had a little bit of swagger with them. Like Miami, they knew it was a primetime game. They came to play. And the Miami Dolphins played a very good game. Brian Flores coached an amazing game. And there was a lot of weird takeaways from this game. Like I mentioned, football is weird. First, you had the Bills losing last week to the Jags. It wasn't a blowout, but it was a weird close game. You have the Cowboys getting completely blown out by the Broncos, something we did not expect. You had the Titans stepping up, playing a very good game. Surprising, no, but the way the Rams played, yeah, that was surprising. Like the NFL is great because you have surprises left and right. It's always fun. Like the NFL is great because nothing is the same from week to week. You have bad teams that'll play really great one week and then the next week fall off. Or you have teams like the Panthers who are really great to start the season, fall off and play bad. You have teams like the Vikings, like we don't know who they are. All season we're trying to figure it out. We have the Bengals, a team we're high on and then we're low on. I'm just scrolling through teams and I'm just looking at it. You have the Chargers, they come off a couple of tough losses and then they go to the Eagles and they don't do Chargers things. You have the Falcons who don't do Falcons things. They don't choke a lead. This just shows this Thursday night game. Now, if this game was buried on a Sunday 1:00 window, do I think this game is close? No, I don't. I really think that the Ravens probably come in there, dominate the game. They had more time to game plan. And I don't even think this game's close. But with it being buried on a Thursday night football, and it's great when you get stuff buried on Thursday night football, because some of the stuff that was on, red zone or throughout the game, we may not even have seen, like the Sammy Watkins situation where he could have caught the TD pass. We probably would have missed that unless we're a Ravens or Dolphins fan. We would have missed that. He gave up on his route. One of the best part of the game was we got robbed of a big man touchdown, which I am making a petition now that if a big man touches the ball and makes a great effort play like that, it should count. I don't care. It was great. That was awesome. But the NFL is just so fun. And I want to go back to one point. I have my notes in front of me. I have notes. I don't necessarily follow them. I just see and talk about the things I see. But like there was one part of that game that I really liked, and that was Tua on his quarterback sneak. He had a little bit of swagger. Now he said after the game that his finger wasn't necessarily feeling the best, but that like his swagger, he was feeling himself after that quarterback sneak. That's the kind of things I like to see from a guy who struggled, most of the season. So like this game just kind of showed that nothing in football is guaranteed. Like this week, we have the Steelers and Lions game. Every week we feel like, everybody's going to overlook the Lions and they can win. Now, the Lions haven't won a game all season. There's a good possibility they go 0-17. But the fact of the matter is, I'm looking at a team like the Steelers I'm not a fan of. I don't like their offense. The Lions, they're not a good team, but they seem to fight hard for Dan Campbell. They have a chance to, upset the Steelers. I know I'm rambling. I'm not necessarily talking about the game on Thursday Night Football, but I'm just saying that's what makes football so great. From week to week, nothing's the same. And then, so, there's great moments within a game like we had on Thursday Night Football. You had the big man touchdown. Obviously, it didn't count. You had that cool flea flicker play that the Dolphins ran where Tua handed the ball off to Gaskin, and then he does the flea flicker back to Tua, and then Tua just dumps it off to a screen. That's not a play I've ever seen before, and I thought that was really nifty. I thought that was, like, the play itself was really good. And then you have within the game, Albert Wilson had a really good game. Again, Jalen Waddle, Mike Gesicki, they had really good games. And then on the defense, just the way they stepped up, getting 4 sacks on the Ravens. Nobody expected this game. And that's the beautiful thing about football. And you never expect what happens. So yeah, that's my feelings on Thursday Night Football. I know I rambled on a little bit more than just Thursday Night Football, but this kind of just proves that football is the best sport and referees do not matter in football. This is the last point. I almost missed this. The refs, something's got to change. I feel like we're complaining about the refs all week. I don't understand. Or every week we're complaining about the refs, and I don't understand why recently. And maybe this is just because the taunting penalty is just so, like they say, a point of emphasis, and it makes fans mad and they don't like it. Maybe that's why we get so upset by seeing it. But like it, when the calls are outrageous, that's when fans seem to get mad. So like there was a roughing the passer penalty in this game on the last drive, or I think it was the last drive or the second to last drive for the Ravens, where they scored a touchdown, but literally it was not even close to an outrageous hit. I understand protecting the quarterback, but when a guy is going to deflect a ball and Lamar Jackson throws the ball out of his hands and his arm comes down and it hits Lamar on the helmet, like, come on, that can't be a roughing. That should not count as roughing. Now, as a Chiefs fan, like I say many times, I'm biased. That screwed them out of the AFC Championship game in, I think, 2018 against the Patriots. There was a lot of things they could have done differently, but the refs, that was an outrageous call. Like, these calls are outrageous, where they just touch them. You could argue the one beforehand. There was two on that drive. The one beforehand, I completely agree that, yeah, that was roughing the passer. If you ask me, it's football. It's a physical sport. That was a very, very clean hit. That was form tackling. Yeah, he put all his weight on the quarterback, and that's who they're trying to protect. But if that's just a player in the field of play, I'm happy with that. That was a good form, clean tackle. Head, right, at the chest, torso area. That was perfect. And I understand it's a quarterback, but I like that tackle. It looked beautiful. I was younger whenever I got into football. Like, I'm not the oldest guy in the room. I'm under the age of 20, but like when I've played football before, and even 5-10 years ago, that was like, oh, that's a great tackle. And I understand protecting the quarterback because they are kind of defenseless, but that one I have no problem with because they're trying to protect you. But that one where he swings his hand over and just, it was such a bad call. And it didn't affect the outcome of the game, but when you see on Twitter everybody being like, oh, great, here we go, refs again, that's never a good sign. So it just feels like this year, maybe the point of emphasis on certain penalties is what's causing these calls to feel like there's more bad ones, because there could be just as many bad calls every single year. But when the NFL specifically goes out of their way to explain why something's a call, and it still shouldn't be a call because it's such an outrageous and bad rule, I think that's why fans get so upset, like myself and everybody else. You have obviously the taunting rule, which I went on many a times, and you have the roughing the passer call. Like, it didn't affect the outcome of the game. We thought it could come close to it, but these refs have got to go do something. They really, really do. Like, it's just, we don't come there to see the refs. The NFL knows it, but I think at this point they're just trying to irritate fans. But let me stop rambling. Congrats to the Dolphins for defeating a really tough opponent in the Ravens, 22-10 on Thursday Night Football. They had a fantastic game. Brian Flores, heck of a head coach, heck of a game plan this week. A 2-7 team coming in there, defeating a opponent that on record is way better than them. So congrats to the Dolphins. That was a fairly entertaining Thursday Night Football game for the low scoring that it was. I thoroughly enjoyed it. And thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you guys so much for listening. Give me your thoughts down below on what you saw on Thursday Night Football between the Dolphins and the Ravens, and I will see you next time.